Noting the time and the presence of a quorum, I call the Boxborough Fire Station Building Committee to order. We're going to start with an executive session, and I move to enter executive session to consider the purchase, exchange, lease, or value of real property pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 21A6, where the chair declares that the discussion in open session may have a detrimental effect on the bargaining position of the town, and to review and approve the executive session meeting minutes from December 11th, thank you, which was also held to consider the purchase, exchange, lease, or value of real property, and to determine whether to make them public.
Second.
Okay, I'm going to take a roll call vote. Larry?
Am I here or yes?
No, this
Oh,
is,
you
sorry,
need to start
I
with the
didn't-
roll. Yeah, you
I
start.
will do that when we come in. Right now, we're taking a vote on going into executive session.
Yes.
Alan?
Aye.
Priya?
Sundaram, aye.
Maria?
Neil and I.
Sarah?
Aye.
Mac?
Mac is unmuted.
We can't hear you, Mac. Okay, I'm going to register that as an abstain, and Brolin, aye. And we will reconvene in open session after completion of the executive session.
And how are we getting Mac, if you can hear us?
So Mac, you need to, you can stay on here or not, but Mike's gonna call you on your phone to join us in executive session, as well as Steve and Jeff if they're online. Okay, so we're going in the other room. All right, we're back from executive session, and so we'll move to public input. If there are members of the public who would like to share any input with the committee, they can do so at this time or at the end of the meeting, but not both. There's no one in the room. Is there anyone
There is.
online? Please raise your hand.
Yep, John Markowitz has his
Okay,
hand
John,
raised.
please unmute John.
I just did. He should be able to
Okay, you
speak.
should be able to unmute yourself, John.
Okay.
Yep, there you go.
Okay, yep.
Yes, Mary, I just had a question. I know that you've got a lot of work on you. Got a lot to do tonight, and one of the items is talking about special town meeting, correct?
Yes.
So I was just wondering if you're planning to do a presentation about what the program is associated with the fire station.
Not tonight. We have
Not
done
tonight.
that in the past.
No, I mean at town meeting.
Well, at town meeting, I get limited time. So it depends. I have not planned that presentation at all. That's March, so that's a February task.
Okay, the reason I ask is because you're asking the community for quite a bit of money, and I think they should be told, or the program, the overall program should be explained to them.
Okay, I will keep that in mind when I'm preparing the presentation.
Okay, thank you very much, Mary.
Thank you, John. Any other public comment?
No.
All right, I'm going to move us to new business. We have updates on sites under consideration. So we did get feedback on the analyses we've done on 984 and 1300, so I'm going to pass it to Jeff Shaw to update us.
All right. Good evening, everybody. We did provide some updates on the analyses that were done by the geotech and environmental, mostly environmental, in an email update for everybody. But essentially, the phase 1 and phase 2 analysis have been completed for both sites, and they did not find anything of specific note that we should be concerned about. Anything they found was below reportable levels, so essentially making no further concerns for the environmental engineers who are doing that, and that's primarily at 984 Mass Ave because we did the actual testing there. At 1300, we just did a phase one, but again, other than the already understood and known hydraulic leak that was cleaned up, there's no other anything other on that site that would cause any concerns. We did get the geotechnical results, which I think we talked about briefly, but again, there were no major issues there. There are some areas on 984 that have ledge, and there's some potential with the fill that was on the site that we may have to, depending on where the building is designed to be on the site, we may have to do some ground improvement or over excavation and replacing of that material with structural fill, all of which is a pretty standard occurrence in construction these days. Obviously, it does increase the cost a bit, but the good news is that we have flexibility in where the building can go, and so we could design the location of the building to be in the most advantageous spot on the site. But a lot of test bits were done there, so we do have a fairly good understanding of what's there. And then for 1300, there were no geotechnical studies done there, so we don't have anything further to report there. Just the previous reports we've done for the civil engineering, the wells, and that sort of thing. So that's the new information that we have.
Thank you. And we've got construction bids for all three sites. So Steve, I wonder if you want to walk us through those?
Can he not? No, he's unmuted.
Mayor, are you talking the Fogarty at cost estimates or the total project budget?
I think the total project budget, because I know we made some changes in some of Fogarty's assumptions, and that's built into your total estimate. So I think we should go through the total estimate.
Okay, hold on.
Are you going to be able to put that up on that screen too? Or if you take that down, will the Zoom meeting go up there so maybe we can see it off the Zoom?
I don't think I can.
Somehow.
Oh, because you're not, are you on Zoom?
I'll try getting on Zoom while he starts here and see if we can get there.
I don't care, just that Ellen doesn't have a laptop.
I could, is it
Okay.
if I
Yeah.
look?
All right.
Can you see that spreadsheet now?
So who's ever doing this, can you close the participants? And make it
That's,
a little bigger?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's not,
And-
yeah.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I can't see that, and,
So hold on a second. You should be able to, once,
okay.
okay, hold on.
Oh, Mike's gonna, I see.
Yes, once he's up there, I just
Okay.
let him in. The share should, oh, we can't make it bigger.
You can zoom into it.
That's better,
That's fine.
but, yeah.
Okay.
And
So then at least it's in the room as well.
Yeah, okay, now we can see it.
Okay, you see all the, the three properties, 72, 984, and 1300 Mass Ave.
Yes.
Going across. Okay, so we got the updated cost estimates from AM Fogarty on the 22nd of December, or maybe it was a day after or two, but that was the date. He basically estimated the project and had this is very similar to what we had shown before. This breakout is per their breakout on Fogarty's estimate, where he takes the construction of the building and then the site work separately and then combines them. You know, a lot of the site work information was based on the civil analyses that were done recently, and Jeff provided Fogarty with that information. We got a little bit more solid numbers on the site. As I mentioned, or I want to mention that the 984 and 1300, Fogarty's estimate actually had included a traffic light cost, which I subtracted from the site costs because we've previously determined that we were not going to include the traffic signals under this construction project. So I made an adjustment there. Another adjustment that was made is in Fogarty's, because I believe Fogarty's estimates was issued to all the committee members. He had carried 18 months for duration. We, in our working group and our discussions previously, thought that was a little extended. So we reduced the construction duration for 72 Stowe Road and 984 Mass Ave to 16 months. We're carrying 17 months on 1300 because we need a month to demolish and remove the existing building. So there's a difference there. There was an increase in the general conditions per month also that that was part of Fogarty's newer estimates, which we've included, and then the percentages of general requirements, building permits, fees being waived, bonds and insurance, and profits are all the same, and it just really sort of calculates through. And again, you know, these are conceptual cost estimates. You know, not a lot of detail on the drawings, and these are all pre-value engineering numbers. So when we come down to the hard cost, we've got 72 Stowe Road at 25.6 million, 984 at 27 million, and 1300 as 27.66 million for your basically your raw construction costs. There was some conversation previously about whether any kind of ledge needed to be included, and in Fogarty's number, they included an allowance for ledge in both 984 and 1300, again based on the civil engineering analysis. Also included abatement and demolition of the existing buildings, inclusive of 1300. So all of that is in that number, where previously we had been adding those numbers in. And again, these are just, you know, we've got more updated information. We're trying to consolidate everything.
And Steve, I know it's much smaller, but do the 72 Stowe Road and 984 include demolition of any buildings on those properties?
Yes, yeah, the wooden structures are also included. And a small amount for abatement if it's necessary.
Yeah. Thank you.
So then, you know, as we had discussed on, you know, previously, we were very interested in going green. So part of Fogarty's cost estimate is essentially the upcharge to go from an air source to a ground source heat pump system. Excuse me. And that's what I'm adding in as alternate one to the construction costs, and he's loaded those with the markups already. So those are added in. Then we carry our construction contingency of 5%, which is different from the design contingency, which is carried up here. Design contingency is essentially because the drawings are not fully designed yet. There's not a lot of detail. There's a design contingency for things that need to be put into the design itself. And as we go further into, hopefully, SD, DD, and CD, that design contingency will go down because Jeff and his team are adding the detail to the drawings, which the estimator can then give a much more solid estimate on quantities and types of material. But that is different from the construction contingency. We'll always carry whatever the final number is we get from the estimator. There'll be a 5% construction contingency added to it. On new construction, 5%. If we're doing a renovation, we usually go 10%. So that's all included in the hard costs, which now we come up with 27.3 for 72, 28.8 for 984, and 29.5 for 1,300. Any questions on the hard cost data?
I don't see any. And
Okay.
Mac's online, so Mac, speak up if you have questions.
Going on to the soft costs, again, you know, we had soft costs for the construction administration for context and closeout, and construction administration for vertex and closeout. We've adjusted those because we did adjust the month, and the numbers are shown here. Again, the OPM costs usually go higher than the architect's cost during construction, because at that point, we have someone that's on the site full-time, 40 hours a week during the construction and closeout. Then, again, we're into soft costs now, so you got your designer fee, your OPM fee, then your other soft costs. And I've got financing costs. We've highlighted that because I know Mike was looking into whether that's a good number or not, or whether that can be adjusted. I don't think he has a full answer on that yet. Am I correct?
I'm waiting.
Yep. So we've sort of carried this number through the whole job, and again, if it can be adjusted, it will be. But I think we've gone through a bunch of these before. We've got moving costs, we've got FF&E costs, anything that might already be included in the GC costs. We've noted that, but we had it shown before, you know, a gear extractor, gear dryer, those type of items, training equipment. All these numbers have been consistent for the last few times we've gone through this. I'll highlight where we did make changes. We had previously included money for a phase 1 site assessment, but we've now done that, and I've noted that as being done during design. We've got soil testing and monitoring, borings and test pits. That's all included in designer fees. Seismic monitoring, I think we talked about this at the last meeting. We included it. Acoustical monitoring and seismic monitoring only at 72 because of the abutters. We determined it was not necessary at the other two sites. Advertisement, printing for bidding and bid hosting and electronic bidding. That's included in our SD to bid document costs, and does not need to be carried here. We've got legal fees, ballot fees, the building committee meeting minutes, builder's risk insurance. We are carrying building envelope and HVAC commissioning agents during construction. Fire station alerting system we've had all along. Again, the traffic warning signals, we've taken that out on all 3 projects, as it is if we do it, it would be a separate project. The green, we took out the lead portion of green because we're going to design towards green, but the geothermal monitoring during construction, which is the CA, Construction Administration, we do have to include that, which is $79,000. The photovoltaics would be a post-construction item with a power purchase agreement of some kind, so we've taken that out of the construction cost estimate. We do not want that included with the general contractor. It's not a good way to go. We've got radio equipment, we've got dumpster for disposal when we move out of the 502. IT fiber service is one that we've got updates on. We were carrying money for fiber service, but we've determined that fiber is running in front of each one of these properties, and Verizon would do the tie-ins at no cost. All we have to do is supply the 4-inch conduit to the pole, which we have in the construction cost. The only caveat is on 1300, there's equipment that would be needed to be removed from the existing building, which we're carrying 10,000 for. We've got a line item for just some miscellaneous costs at 12,000. Mass save, we've got application fees that we'd be doing during design, so we've zeroed that out. We've got fees for the post-occupancy verification that we're including here in the construction number. Interior wall murals for the blank walls, we've got numbers for. The telephone, potential for Verizon and a pole fee. Security, owner's end of security, not the infrastructure. Audio-visual by owner, not the infrastructure. Infrastructure is included in construction. Any type of utility back charges we may get hit with for power. We never know whether we're going to get that until we start the project. A lot of times we don't get anything, and that 40,000 doesn't get charged, but that's what we're carrying now. Site permitting fees, we've got 10,000. The peer review during design, we've taken that out because we've carried it during design. So we've got the other items total for soft costs at roughly 1.48, 45, 47. We're carrying the soft cost contingency on the total, inclusive of the owner and the owner's project management and designer fees. We've got a total soft cost of 3.4, 3.37, and 3.5 roughly. Adding the hard and soft costs, and then adding the 1% owner's contingency, we come down to a total for 72 of 31.048 million, 984, 32.510, and 1,333.336. Again, conceptual cost estimates, pre-value engineering.
Thank you. Any questions, comments?
Steve, you mentioned the demolition taking an additional month for 1,300. We don't expect the same for, like, I know there's not a bigger building for 72 and 984. That
No,
you think it'll be still within the less than the month time frame?
Yeah, those
Okay.
wooden structures are going to go down very quickly.
Okay.
I noticed there's a line item for monitoring during abatement, but is there a line item for doing the actual abatement?
That's in the construction cost.
Okay,
The monitoring is by the industrial hygienist.
yes,
The removal is in the construction cost.
okay. And we don't even know if we need that at this point, right?
We don't, no.
Right, okay.
No. Erring on the side of caution.
All right. So if there aren't any other questions, I think we might go to the review the site matrix.
Mary, could I ask a question?
Absolutely.
Will there be any process between now and the town meeting that we might talk about that bottom line budget? I'm still hoping that we can get that under 30 million. And I'm wondering if there's going to be any kind of a process that we can use to think about that.
Well, I think we are going to start having conversations after we're ready for town meeting, so late January into February, where we can go back to the value engineering conversation. But I am gonna say, I've only done this once before. We didn't value engineer before a building is designed. We value engineered during the design phase. During the design phase, there are 3 times where a cost estimator estimates the cost of the design. And at those times, we then say, okay, this is, you know, at X price tag, we want it to be less, and we value engineer. It's easier to value engineer when you know what you have designed. It's hard to take something out of a building if you don't know if it's actually in the building. So I think we can have a conversation. I don't think we're gonna get to a definitive answer. These are conceptual estimates at this time. I also think that, you know, we need to tell the community we're gonna try to come in under 30 million. And in my heart of hearts, I want to do that, but I also don't want to build a substandard building that doesn't meet the needs for what we're trying to do. So that's the balance we're going to try to walk from January of 2026 through March of 2027. And then in March of 2027, we're going to have a real bid estimate.
Thank you.
Yep. Okay, so this is the matrix, and you'll all see, I sent you the wrong matrix, and I apologize. I sent you the updated one late this afternoon, and that's what Steve's working with here. So we had scored 72, 1300, and 984, but I think it would be good to go through it and see, now we have more information, do we want to change any of our scores?
So basically go through for 984.
984 and 1300.
1300, yeah, okay.
I think Stowe Road, we don't have any new information, so I doubt we'd be changing it, but maybe in conversation we would. So they're all open.
So what I'm gonna do, just to make it a little easier to see, I'm just gonna hide these for now,
Yeah.
for 72.
Yes, that'll help.
Okay.
And that, maybe I can increase this a little bit. So we can see everything. So we had looked at this before, but, you know, it was very, I don't know, it was high levels before we had some other reports and so forth. So some of these numbers may stay the same.
Right.
I think some of them are gonna change.
Yeah.
Right, and just to confirm for me, because I'm a little slow, column P is 72, right?
No.
What?
No,
he hits
1300.
1300 and then, and
NOP.
984, because 984 was sort of the last one we added to
Okay,
the mix.
that's fine, because when you go down, I'm going to forget that, so I'm writing it down, so I don't forget
NOP
it.
is 1300,
Okay.
QRS is 984.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, so our first item, I can't see the very left column.
Mike, can you zoom out on?
No, because he's not
It's-
controlling it.
The criteria for, the first one is well water.
Why can't we see it?
Because we can see it over there.
You can't go
I'm
full
over as
screen.
far as I can go.
No, it's not you, we're looking at something
I
Mike's
think you have
showing,
it zoomed in too much, Mike.
and so it's,
Make it 90%.
Can you-
maybe.
Can you get rid of that
Get rid
little
of-
thumbnail on the right? And pull,
Well, I don't-
this
pull that all-
is Mike,
oh,
he's
oh,
talking
wait,
to
wait.
Mike.
no?
I can't get rid of that thumbnail.
So,
Well, some
Go to
of those-
view.
yeah, go to
And
view and see if
do-
you can make it smaller.
There's a way
There we
it's
go.
really.
There you go.
There we go.
Yeah, there you go, perfect.
You got it?
Okay, that's perfect. So well water. So we had rated 1300 as a 5 and 984 as a 4 in the past.
Well, based on the geotech and civil report that we just got, they said that the existing well may be suitable, but that more than likely we'll find a suitable source on the site. So although we don't have necessarily the well we're going to use, the probabilities of finding the well on the sites was pretty high, versus at 1300, there are, well, the well was deep, it was sufficient for a a much larger building, so it was figured that it would be sufficient for what we needed, which would be less.
Right, that one would require decommissioning as a public well.
Yeah.
And, setting it up as a private well, but I think we could use a lot of the infrastructure probably. So I think that's why we gave that a little bit higher rating at 1,300 than 984.
So should we change that now that we know that there's,
But just
Can't use
as a
72.
comparison, what did we give 72?
Does anyone have it open of the
no, because
correct one?
it's,
72 was given, a 3.
Very high.
right, because there's no well there at all.
Right.
So we assumed we could get water.
Yeah,
All right.
right. So I'm not hearing any changes to that.
Okay.
Okay, then perk test for septic.
Both 5s.
Yep, both 5s.
And 72 was 3.
Okay.
Yes.
And there's nothing that indicates that it doesn't perk based on the new information, so I'd say we keep that.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, and I think 72, we also gave that a 5. Let me check.
We give that a 5 because it perked?
No, because it had.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was a
Yep.
5.
Oh, yeah, we gave that a 5. Oh, I
Five, yeah.
thought you guys said a 3.
That,
Okay,
that was
also
me,
two.
that was.
okay,
But we did more
Yeah.
testing at 72.
right, right.
Okay,
We have
so-
one here. Wait,
Wait, not
This is
7,
not right.
we don't want to see 75832.
No, I hit the wrong one.
Yeah,
There we go.
okay.
all right. Then, geotech
Oh.
survey and borings.
Yeah, I think we gave 984 a 2 because we hadn't done anything yet, if I
Right.
recall, so we were a little unsure.
So it feels like that could go up at 984 because it came out fine.
Yep.
So a 4 or a 5?
I don't know, I'm not, I read all that stuff and I don't know, is that a 4 or is that a 5?
I know.
Sarah?
Well,
Jeff or Steve?
the report said that they didn't see any
Yeah.
significant issues with using conventional footings on either of the sites. So I think that they're equal.
Okay, so,
Well, yeah, I wouldn't give it a 5 necessarily because there was the comment about
Yeah, there was.
potential fill issues, so,
Yeah.
Yeah,
I would say- I
my
would say
recommendation is to give them both 4s for different reasons. 984 gets a 4 because we know, we've done the work to know what's there, but it's not perfect.
Yeah.
But it's not bad, it's just slightly less than perfect. And for 1,300, while we know anecdotally what's there, we haven't dug anything or bored any holes, so we're pretty certain it can be done like the existing building has been done. But without further information, we can't test and prove it. So I give them both 4s.
okay.
I agree. Steve, can you just capture that summary for the explanation for each of those when you finish this up?
okay.
Okay.
All right, so then response time. We had 5s for both of those.
We had
That makes sense.
4 for 72,
Okay.
right?
Which really doesn't,
Yeah.
I don't know why, but
Because you have to come up onto
Mass Ave.
Mass Ave.
Oh,
Yeah, I
okay.
think a little
Okay.
better.
Okay.
What did we have for Geo on 72, Priya?
Geo was 5.
Okay.
I was curious for response time for 1,300 Mass Ave. It's just
Further down.
slightly further west.
Yeah.
So is a lot of our population. When you look at some of where your multiple housing units, the majority of the multiple housing units in a lot of our call volume is further west.
Okay.
So I think that it's a play, as I said in previous meetings, it's somewhat of a trade-off. Whichever way you go, you're going to see better response times, obviously, for different
the other
animals,
side.
right? Just with the
Yeah.
ones
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
depending on how you look at it, it's a plus and a minus for either section of town versus.
Yeah.
Okay.
But overall, you think both sites will meet the minimum requirement?
Yes, I think that being on Mass Ave is
Right.
a major help. It's, like I said, we're that much closer to the multiple housing units, but, you know, if we're at 984, we're almost back to being somewhat middle to go equal to either side.
Yeah. So we keep those as fives, folks?
Mhm.
Yep, okay. Supports the fire department program. We're using the same model on all three sites. It fits on all three sites, so I think we have fives across the board on that.
Yeah.
Right, right.
Nothing's changed on that. A butter impact.
Why did we put a 4 for 984 on that?
Because it has.
Yeah, what's the,
Oh, because it has the abutters, yeah, okay.
We have the business and house in the back.
Okay, I forgot, yep.
but based on conversations we've had with the
Yes.
abutters,
Yes,
they welcome the idea of having a fire station, so there are abutters that are happy to have the fire station there.
yeah. I agree. I'd make that a
welcome change.
5.
Yeah.
And then 72, we had a
4.
4,
I
okay.
think 4's being generous at 72,
Yeah.
honestly.
This point.
I think we did 4 relative to 502, but if we think relative to these, do we want to pull that down to a 3?
Well, based on the feedback that we've gotten from so many people, I think you have to.
Yeah.
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 It could be a 2.
I was going to say, would you go lower than a 3?
Well, I mean, the most time has been spent so far on this committee with abutters that were unhappy with Stowe Road.
Right.
We definitely have to lower it, so the question is 3 or 2.
Right.
I think a 2 is good.
Max said that,
Yep.
okay.
Okay, a 2 unless I hear differently. That's for 72 Stowe Road.
Okay, I'll make that change.
Then we have the conceptual estimated total cost. So, going back to what Steve just shared, we have 72 at 31 million. This is just on the construction side. 984 at 32.5 and Mass Ave at 33.3.
Yep.
And then there's the purchase costs, which, you know, we don't have firm negotiated prices, but we've been talking about 1.2 million at 72 Stowe Road, 2.4 million at 984, and 4.5 at 1300.
So a 5 and a 4 and a 3.
Wait. A 5 and a 4, so what's a 5?
5,
Stowe Road.
72.
Yeah,
it's the
lowest cost.
Stowe Road is the lowest
5,
cost.
4, and 3. Right, but right now we have a 1.
Yeah,
on
yeah, that's what
1300.
I'm
We
saying.
didn't have, yeah.
We didn't have.
We didn't have any
We
information
didn't
on
have any
that.
Yeah.
information. So this is our,
So, this would be, this would be 3 then,
Yeah, that would be 3.
so we.
and this
yeah,
would be 4,
Yeah.
Right,
and I'll change 72 to a 5.
5. Okay, then we have wetland/survey.
Would we change that,
I don't
based on
know,
anything we saw?
the report still talks about, it's not in the 100-year floodplain, but it's close to the 200-foot river.
Yeah, you're talking
At
about
1300, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think I'd still keep that a
Leave it.
4.
Yep.
984 seemed to have no wetland issues.
Mhm.
They had this
Oh,
across the
across
street,
the street,
which could impact.
So it could be a buffer issue if it's across
Yeah.
the street?
yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
But
we should know that, we should be able to look at that from the,
I think that like based off of the site plan that Jeff sent over with it like sitting on it, it looked like it was away from that.
Well out of that, that's what
I mean, unless a new wetland survey would show that it
Otherwise,
moved
yeah.
drastically.
Well, we should have that information because right directly across the street is 975 and they've been in site plan review. So there's got to be that information somewhere in town hall. Right? There's got to be a map that shows where the wetlands are and where the
have
buffers
it.
are.
We do have, it's hard to see on the little design sketch that we sent, but the 100-foot wetlands buffer is depicted on the site. It's probably, I don't know, about 20 feet maybe over the property line at its worst case. And it would not really impact the design or the building or any of the utilities. If anything, it would only impact how we're approaching Mass Ave if we have landscaping and things like that in that buffer zone. So I don't think it's really a factor.
Okay.
Okay.
So should we make those even? No, because wait, this
We
first
need-
one is 4. Yeah, that's 1,300. Yeah, that's fine. Okay.
This is good.
Yeah,
So keep 4 and 5.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
what did we have Stowe Road as?
5.
because there's no wetlands on there.
Well, there's that corner on the driveway,
Right, but that totally doesn't affect,
right, where.
you
we're
know, the
putting it.
design.
Okay.
Yeah, we had that as a 5.
Okay. Then we have traffic study, vehicle access, sight lines, safety.
So that's a 5 across.
That hasn't, yeah.
Both of
Yeah.
them are 5.
And not 72 is also 5.
Okay.
Yep.
Good. That's good to know. Sustainability.
Oh, we didn't have that info either, right? Like across.
Yeah. So I don't know that we've done this assessment.
Yeah. We should probably.
So all 3 of them are 3s?
3, yeah,
Yep.
but right now, 72 is a
72
1,
is
Steve.
a 1,
Yeah,
yeah.
we should change that to a 3 too.
Okay,
Why is
3's
it
across.
We didn't have the
Yeah, I think the
information.
reason that 72 is at 3 is because it was sort of untouched land in
They
a
should
way.
be the same.
Whereas
Based on impact.
1300 and 984 both have existing impacts that, from commercial use or industrial use that we would simply just be converting
that's why it was a
into.
1.
new,
Yeah, there was trees
impact.
that needed to be cut on 72, so.
So I think there is a significant difference between 72 and these other 2 sites that shouldn't be eliminated from this.
Yeah.
And I think on all the sites, geothermal will work. I don't think there'd be any problems with any of the sites.
You want to make it 2, 3, 3?
Sure.
Yeah.
Right? 2, 3, 3.
That makes more sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, then special site considerations.
Well, we had the building demo for 1,300, we had the retaining wall and fill for 984, and 72, we had a 4.
Yep.
And that was because of the scenic stone wall.
But didn't we talk about
But
that?
the wall, we-
But these are economic issues, and so hasn't the economics already been picked up in the construction cost?
Yes. I mean,
Well, but it's a evaluation criteria, I mean, I guess you could
Yeah.
eliminate it, totally.
so should
But
this.
But did we talk
It's
about this?
it's
retaining wall?
redundant, it's,
We're not even near it.
I mean,
We did this every time.
I know,
Every
we do
time.
this every time. A
Every time.
number of these also have economic issues. We can decide to make this not count by making them all the same. We could decide that there's an issue of special site considerations above and beyond economic costs. We could put 0 weight and take it out. There's a number of things, but I would say the retaining wall and fill is not an issue from the subsequent analyses we've done.
Yeah,
So that should get, if we keep it, that should get a higher score.
yeah.
The only thing I would add, Mary, to that is that I think originally we started conceiving of this as being something of unusual risk. No, we knew we counted for the cost, but there's some unknown risk that we're accounting for, but not obviously fully because we don't know what the risk is yet. So this sort of captures that maybe there's extra risk in one or multiple of these sites that we should be aware of.
Yeah.
So we should,
But the two for 984 had to do with the retaining wall.
It had to do with the retaining wall before we had data on it.
Right, but now we do have the data,
Correct.
and that's not as bad as we thought it was gonna be.
Correct.
So, okay, so we're making that a 3. All right, I'm sorry.
No.
It's getting a little lost in the numbers here.
And
Okay.
we had Stowe Road as a 4. I'm just gonna say, do we wanna make that a 3 or a 4? And, I mean, I guess there's still some risk with 1300 because the building's there.
Mm-hmm.
There's some abatement in the budget, but there could be a higher risk.
yeah.
Taking that building down?
yeah.
And what's in it?
Yeah,
It's the size of the building, and
So we can
1,300
keep 4,
that
3,
causes
3.
the trepidation?
4, 3,
Because
3.
the demo's gonna
Yeah.
be so
Okay, so,
expensive.
so you wanna keep the 3 for 984.
Hazardous materials, it'll cost more.
Well,
Larry
won't there
and
be at the
Alan,
other sites too?
one meeting.
They're much older construction of them.
Wow, you guys can't even hear me. One meeting, please comment out to everyone what you're talking about.
Isn't the issue with the demolition the same on all 3 sites, but on 1300, because it's a bigger building, it's more of an issue?
But they don't have like the retaining, I mean,
The-
it's,
It depends on what the risk is of the building. So we have a cost to demo all the buildings. There's a risk that there's asbestos.
Yeah.
Is that risk greater at 1300 than at the other sites? We have more cost in there. Are we at risk there? I don't know. Jeff?
Yeah, I mean, based upon the age of the building, you would think there wouldn't be that much risk there, but because of its size, whatever we find, potentially, there could be a lot of it, if we did find something. So the unknown is the unknown for good reason, I don't know. And so I would say that's one of the risks at 1300. The other risk might be, the site's more wet than we really thought it would be. And that might be another concern that we have to do more expensive septic, and because it's a mounted system or something like that. I don't think it would mean it would be impossible. It just wouldn't change those other ratings you gave it. It'd just be a risk that we're facing. For 984, of course those little buildings could have plenty of stuff in it. But they're also small, so the amount of it probably wouldn't be as much, but that's certainly an unknown. I think though we've done a lot of holes in the ground to see what we can find. I think Mary would be the first to tell you that where you dig the hole doesn't necessarily mean you're going to find all the stuff. So there's certainly potential for more there, but that's potentially true on any of the sites. And like you said, I think we've kind of extinguished some of the challenges from the so-called retaining wall area there, which may previously have been a concern. But there is the ledge that's there. We know where it is, but it's there. And there is the areas of fill, which might cause the foundations to be a little bit more expensive here as well. We have a little bit better understanding about that now because we've done the due diligence, but there's still a level of risk that the numbers, cost estimates that we have so far don't fully capture.
So given that, do we want to keep those both at 3s and 72 as a 4? I'm seeing a lot of heads nodding. Okay. Zoning,
that's,
we had 5s for both site
and for.
And 72.
and for 72.
And 72.
Okay. No changes there. A butter impact during construction.
What was 72?
3.
We had a 3.
And we thought that 1300 would be fine and 984 would be fine.
Well, we
Is it
have
really
4 and
fine?
5.
What's that?
On 984,
Should be 4.
at some point, they're not going to have easy access because of the road issues,
Right. And we're talking about
and they're the abutters. And
5
there's also 2
abutters.
businesses there, right?
One
business.
business, because one business is on the property that we would be
Right.
constructing on.
And then couple homes, right?
The
And
three
a couple
houses up.
homes.
Three.
Who currently are in favor of this. So, I know we can make it a 4 because there is some impact.
It is a
right
4.
now.
I think,
Maybe.
Oh,
It's,
sorry.
It's a
yeah.
4 and a 5.
Nine-
So
yeah,
we should-
9
I was
four is
looking
a
at the
4.
wrong row. It's a 5 and a 4.
I think we
Okay.
should leave it
I
as
think,
is, yeah.
Okay. And leave 72 at a 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. And then communications.
The chief was gonna check.
There hasn't been any problems.
Did- In any of the locations?
No.
There'd be no problem with communication, okay.
So that should be 5 across then.
Then
Yep.
5 across.
What is it right now? It's still.
Well, we have 4 at 72.
Yeah.
So do you wanna make that a 5?
I can't remember why it was given a 4 to begin with. We don't have, we were just transmitting from there today. We had a call right across the street, and we had no problem with the radios whatsoever, so I can't imagine, I don't recall why we made it a 4.
Yeah, the note, chief, that we had for 72, on-site radio field test performed by BFD Clear Signal, but we did give it a 4.
So they,
I think there may have also been a concern for getting the fiber loop there for direct communications, but I think Mike has also confirmed we can get to all the sites with the fiber loop.
okay.
So we should just make that a
Yeah.
5
Right, so we
also.
should do all 5s.
So we should make all of those 5.
So to go back to a butter input during construction,
Yeah,
Impact?
the only time that there'll be significant impact at 94 is when Sarah's Way is worked on, which will
Right.
be a couple months. Once that's done, whether it's the beginning of the project or the end of the project, the other times, it's no different.
right.
So it's to a very few number of individuals over a relatively short period of time. It's not 16 months.
Right.
So it doesn't, I mean, if it's not equal, but the way that this is weighted, it makes a big difference from a 4 to a 5 or a 3 to a 4.
it's 5.
So it just seems that it's not fairly weighting. It has some impact, but it's not a significant impact. This is the point I'm trying to make.
Yeah.
Isn't it 5 points different?
Where-
A butter impact,
It's a
Yeah, because
25
this
versus
now
a
is-
20.
3, yeah, it's a weight of 5. Is that right? No, that's the score.
Yes.
I mean,
Oh,
the
no,
weighting
that's
is
the weight,
5
right.
on that one.
The
So it's a
weight,
weight
yep.
of 5, so,
And what was the weighting on cost? 10?
But, we say that, but I know it's a smaller number of
Yes.
abutters, but they're on a hill overlooking the site, and dust is coming up, and there's gonna be some throughout the whole process. The worst of it's gonna be when you're working on Sarah's Way.
right.
And
But you're gonna have
There's-
noise, you're gonna have, the guys show up at 6:30 every day. I mean, that's all part of
Yeah.
a butter impact.
I,
All right.
we're not using these scores like we're just taking the highest. It's just a guide. So we can keep that in mind when we're looking at the totals as well. Because I think they're coming out very close,
so
but
can we see the totals?
can you open up, is that 72 now that you have open?
I'm updating.
Okay, update and then we'll look at the scores.
72.
442. 1300 is 444. And 984 is 462.
So 1,300's come up just above a little bit of 72, but,
Yeah,
and I think that's primarily the abutter issue there,
right, right,
and cost.
and cost. And 984 is above both of those, so. Okay. Any other questions, comments on this? Because then I want to discuss the sites and what people think about them and, you know, where we are. We need to pick a site by Thursday. We have a meeting to do that. I mean, these scores show that we have 3 sites that are pretty good with different pros and cons across each site. So thoughts?
On the matrix or on the sites? Are we moving on? Like, kind of-
If you have comments, questions on the matrix, this is the time to say it, because then we're gonna be done with the matrix. Speak now or forever hold your peace. Except for Larry, he's been holding his peace for months. Okay, so sites, let's talk sites.
If we had to choose between the old 502 and 1,300, I think I would weigh toward 1,300. But the cost of that site compared to the other 2 candidates that we just reviewed seems to be out of line and isn't better site necessarily than 984-72. So based on the excessive cost of that site and the unknown demolition and the septic issue and getting rid of a public water supply, which seems to be a logistical headache perhaps, I don't have any interest in 1,300 anymore.
Okay. Other thoughts?
I mean, from the money perspective, I can't, I mean, all the rest of the stuff you listed, but the cost differential is significant.
Yeah.
Because we have 2 other very viable sites
That are cheaper.
that are
Yeah.
less expensive,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
So I agree with Alan in that.
Larry?
I like the visibility and location of 1,300. But I agree that it's going to serve the town as well to be on Mass Ave at the 784 site for several $1 million less. And if we work on the program and value engineering, we may add even more to the $7 million less. So I think we can take 1,300 off the list.
Mac?
I would agree with that. It seems that at 72, even though we believed, and we still believe that's a viable site, the issue, we obviously have a concern about the butters. From a practical standpoint, we also have a concern that whether or not there will be enough of those butters that will not vote to support the money when that comes up. So there are 2 strong reasons why that is probably not the strongest. I agree with what everybody said about 1,300. I like that. I think given everything, or given the same amount of money, I probably would be in support of 1,300 because of its visibility and being near 495, and people have talked about that's closer to the population center, even though it's not closer to the number of houses in town. But for that much more money, it just is not viable, I don't think. So I am also in favor of 984 and feel good about what we've heard about that site over the last month. Took away a lot of our concerns. So I would vote to take 1,300 off as well.
Alan?
Is it premature to make a motion?
Nope.
I make a motion that we cease further discussion and interest in the 1300 Mass Ave property and let the seller of the property know that we have no further interest.
Second.
Okay, so Alan moved and Maria seconded. Any other discussion on that? I'm going to take a roll call vote. Larry?
Aye.
Alan?
Aye.
Priya?
Sundaram, aye.
Maria?
Neil and I.
Sarah?
Aye.
Mac?
Aye.
And Brolin, aye. So that's unanimous. Okay, so that leaves us with 2 properties to be considering as we move forward. Is there any other discussion people want to have tonight about the 2 properties?
I want to reinforce something that Larry has said a couple of times.
Okay,
And the word that he uses is visibility. And 984 is going to provide maximum visibility of the town's $30 million investment. When it's off on a side road, people probably forget that it's there. And they don't realize what they bought for the $30 million unless they make an effort to go see it. But if it's right on Route 111, the $30 million is in your face every time you drive to Route 495. You can't miss it. It also means that people that aren't familiar with our town and need to find the fire station are likely going to run into it a lot easier if it's on Mass Ave than it would be down a side street. So from the visibility perspective, I reinforce what Larry has said a couple of times, that it's the biggest investment this town's ever made. Let's put it in our face so we can see what we bought.
you don't think it's going to make them angry to look at it all the time? I hear that. I mean, I personally don't think 72 Stowe Road is so far off that I think it's going to be very noticeable if it were there. But I hear that, yeah.
I still think that like 984, when you look at the cost comparison to acquire them, it's still 984 is double the cost of 72 Stowe Road, and we heard from half the town that cost is a factor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
And then it's even more when you look at the site costs, right?
right.
So
the
it
site
goes
costs
up even
cost more
Yeah,
as well.
my quick math takes it to a differential of about 2.6 million. And we'll bring that next on Thursday, so we have that. But, yeah, it's, it's why we asked the question, and town meeting was 50-50.
I mean, it was literally like 5
Yeah,
vote difference.
yeah.
It was,
And
couldn't get closer.
I don't want people who want a low cost to say, well, you immediately have to cut 2.6 million out of the building.
Yeah.
Because then I would go to the lowest acquisition side and, save the cuts, because we want to maintain as much of the program as we can. So that's where the challenge is and the balance is.
Yeah, I don't know, I'm not quite ready to go to let's
Yeah.
get to one tonight.
Yeah.
I need until Thursday. My concern is 72, that is the ideal location, that is the ideal cost. Maybe not the ideal location. Yes, it's lovely if it was on Mass Ave. It's not, but cost-wise,
Yeah.
and the property itself. So I'm still not quite ready to say, let's give up the ghost here. I'm just
Yeah.
not quite there yet. I promise I'll figure it out by Thursday.
Okay. All right, so I'm going to move us to the site design and bid estimate, which was in your packet. But Jeff or Steve, I would love for one of you to run us through that estimate.
Okay, give me a second.
I don't think I warned you guys how much I was going to ask you to pull up and talk.
Oh, I figured we'd touch on everything. Let me see. Can you see that?
No.
Not yet.
Oh, okay.
Not at all.
All right.
There we go.
There,
Can you
yeah,
see it now?
it's coming in.
Okay.
Oh, hold on. All we can see is a
It's a green screen right now, your background.
Oh.
I'm waiting for you to come out and do the weather.
Desktop.
Let's see.
When we said we wanted to go green, this wasn't what we meant.
How's that?
Much
Got it.
better.
That's good.
Okay. Always a twist. So this really hasn't, make sure I got the right one. This hasn't changed much since last time we went over it. Excuse me. We got 72 Stowe Road, 1300 Mass Ave, and 984 Mass Ave across the top. Your first section is your architect engineer fees, broken into SD, DD, CD, FF, and E, pre-qualification of contractors and bidding, which for all the sites are the same, along with a $5,000 reimbursable allowance. Also, we discussed last time adding the sustainability number for $272,000. And then there are a number of add-ons that we're including for community outreach materials and attendance of $10,000, hazmat survey and design, contingency, $10,000. Again, this is all during design, not construction. A number of things are already included in the numbers which I've noted. The well design engineer, contingency for the private well, $10,000 across the board. And a number of items that we had carried separate numbers for before that are now included or no longer applicable. The technical FF&E design for your fire station alerting system and radios, we've got $20,000 across the board. The acoustical design and testing, which I mentioned during the construction, we have $20,000 only for 72 because of the proximity of the abutters. And then the peer review redesign in case places, which is the peer reviewer requires redesign for something we carried $10,000 across the board. Pre-bid soil testing, we have $10,000 at 72 and 1300, but not 984 because we did it. Mass DOT fees and contingency, because we do have to deal with them. Well, I guess 1300 we don't really have to talk about at this point, but we would on 984, especially if we're entering directly onto Mass Ave. Then we have the OPM fees that are basically the same across the board during design. We have our SDDD, CD, pre-qual and bidding, no lead-up charge, the bid hosting, electronic bidding, third-party cost estimates, that's your SDDD and CD, our separate cost estimate that will compare with context and do a reconciliation at 3 points. Community outreach for us, if it's used, and then 5,000 reimbursables if we have anything. And then there was some other soft costs. We've got some printing costs, advertisement, minutes again for the committee meetings, the planning board and Concom peer review costs from places, legal costs, commissioning. We're not doing any commissioning pre-bid. Mass save fees, that was for our initial application. Permitting, we've determined that those are waived by planning and Concom. You've got 5,000 for ballot fees, and then any kind of utility design fee that we may get hit with, which sometimes Verizon will come up with, carry 10,000. Again, if we don't, these are line items we don't use, they don't get charged anywhere. So we have a subtotal for the 3 sites, sorry, 2 sites now, and then we put a 5% contingency on it. So 72 is 2.781, and 984 is 2.765.
So I have a comment and a
Yeah.
question. If you go, well, just to clarify, this does not include construction administration?
Correct.
Okay, so this is not total fees? So we'll see those fees
Those fees were. in
later,
the-
it'll be
well,
rolled into construction?
Those were in the construction that we just looked at.
Yeah,
The other
I showed
thing-
those previously.
Right. And the other thing, just for the committee's benefit and others, if you go to the top, the biggest numbers obviously are the architecture and engineering fees. Steve, just give us a rundown. What are the range of consultants that are included in those numbers? It's just not context. There's
Right.
quite a number of
Well-
other consultants.
Yeah, it's your structural engineer, your civil engineer, your mechanical, electrical, plumbing, and fire protection engineer, your FF&E design, which that may be in-house for context. Jeff, who am I forgetting?
Landscape architect?
Your landscape architect,
Code consultant?
code
Yeah.
consultant, your
Cost of
cost
code.
estimator.
Cost, right.
Geotech, I don't know, you may have mentioned that already. The geothermal, if we need that, well design,
In the 272, right.
yeah.
So I'm assuming that at this
But
point,
that's-
those consultants aren't selected. You're carrying budget
They are.
estimates. But
No, we have a full team of consultants already pre-selected.
Oh, you do?
and
Okay.
Have gotten proposals, hard proposals for the project, and that's all what these fees are based on. So if there was a vote to proceed and everything was going forward, and we had a site, there's the possibility that those fees could be tightened up a bit if there was more specificity, but the fees that were put together were based upon 984 because at the time it was thought to be the most complex from the site perspective. It's whether that's true or not, I guess now is maybe a little bit more debatable, but at the time the fees were being put together, that was thought to be probably the most expensive of the 3 sites to engineer, and so that's what we figured, would be the worst case scenario from a budget standpoint. So more than likely, these are probably going to be what the fees are, but if anything, they would go down from here. They wouldn't go up.
Well, probably not important at this point, but at some point, we'd like to see the whole list of consultants and their fees, but not important now.
Okay. Other questions, comments?
That would be information that would be included in the amendment that we would issue.
So what we would do for town meeting for the March 9th is if we pick one site, we'll go with the cost for that site. If we pick 2 sites, we'll go with the higher cost, but I think we still haven't talked about the order, so maybe we'll talk about that. If we did it last, then we can amend it down to the lower cost if we've got an agreement to buy a site. Yeah, so that's what I'm thinking, unless people think differently.
That makes sense. And would the select board be willing to do it in the order that we are thinking?
We can make the recommendation, it's their decision in the end, but if we had a good rationale, they would probably, it almost, so here's something to consider. If we don't pass 2/3 to buy the property, do we pass over and we're done with town meeting, and we don't even bring the, because we can't design on a piece of property we don't own, I think.
Yeah, so we have to own the property before we do the
Yeah.
design.
Yeah,
So that would be the suggestion to the select board.
yeah.
I think we're reasonable.
So,
And I think that's the important part to let people know. It's 2/3 on both.
right, right. Okay. Thank you, that was really helpful. So I'm gonna move us to special town meeting. So we have special town meeting on March 9th, which means we do need to make our final decisions and votes this Thursday, January 8th. I know we've also set the date for the ballot vote. And is that March 17th?
Yep.
Yes.
Tuesday, March 17th.
17th, yep.
So as Maria just said, well, so at town meeting, both a land purchase and the design fees would need to pass with a 2/3 vote. And they would also be their debt exclusion, so they would require a ballot vote. And so we would hold a ballot vote on March 17th. Because we would want to have the work start right away if it all passes, because we know time is money. If it doesn't pass at town meeting, do we just cancel the ballot vote?
Yeah, there's no point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no point
okay.
at that point.
So, Mary, remind us again the sequence at town meeting in terms of the land acquisition. Is-
So that's for us to decide, and that's what I want to ask you right now. If we bring one property forward, would we do land acquisition, ask the select board to put land acquisition as Article 1 and the design fees as Article 2? If we put two properties forward, would we go our preferred property first, our second choice second, and design fee third?
But how does that work in terms of, you're voting for each one individually?
Right,
So let's say we bring 984 up first,
yeah,
and that is a favorable vote to acquire the land.
Yeah.
2/3 vote, right?
Okay,
2/3.
2/3 vote.
then
And-
we pass
Pass
over
We pass
the
over.
the other piece of land,
Okay.
72, and then we go to the design fees, and we use the price that is for 984. Yep. So I think when we, on Thursday, when we select what property or properties we're putting forward, if we put two forward, we want to decide on the order. And then, to me, it makes sense to do, no matter what, to do design fees last among our
Yeah.
articles.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's,
Right, because if the land doesn't happen by
Right.
2/3, there's no point in voting design fees.
Right,
We're
And
not
then-
missing something, right? Because I feel like the last special town meeting that we went to before this last one, we didn't play all the pros and the cons out ahead of time. Or the first.
No, we
special
did.
town
It was
meeting.
just, the problem with that was, it was whatever it was. It was zoning. That was the issue.
The zoning, yeah.
Right, so that's what we
like,
missed, that's what we missed going into it, and then the noise around the zoning is what affected that vote. There's no noise around this, this is pretty straightforward, we have two pieces of property and design fee, or we have one piece of property and design fee. And there's no other, there's no zoning issues, there's, that's it.
the concern of the community is the total cost.
Right.
And hopefully before March 9th, we can come in and say, well, our conceptual estimates are X. We're gonna work to get it down by 2 million, 4 million, whatever we think. And that's the conversation to have before March 9th, and it'll be in the presentation. But, yeah, but it's the next step we need to take is land and,
Right.
land and design.
And we're talking through the order.
Right.
That meeting you're talking about, the order was being discussed that night
That
at the
night.
meeting, right? So
Yeah,
it's like,
and-
we're talking about the order of it, and so I don't think
Yeah,
we're
we
missing
didn't
anything.
discuss
I don't think
that,
we
so.
are either.
So.
So it
Okay.
sounds like everyone, we're in favor of requesting that the design fees go last.
Yep.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I will share that with the select board, consider it shared. Fantastic. So I do have draft recommendations. So we've already drafted the warrant articles. I took exactly what we've approved for the article and the summary, but then added recommendations. It's 9 o'clock. I think Thursday's gonna be a big night with big decisions. So if we had the energy to go through some of these, it would be good to do it now.
So the recommendations for the two properties, I don't remember.
Oh, yeah.
Are
So-
they the similar? They're the same, right? I mean, our
Uh,
recommendation doesn't change based on those,
The wording is essentially the same.
essentially the same.
The recommendations are not exactly the same, no.
Teeny
The
bit of
articles
difference in
are,
the Bottom of the summary.
Say again?
Teeny bit of difference in the language at the bottom of the summary for the land
The
purchase.
bottom of the summary.
Yep.
Right, but we had
So-
already,
So at 72 Stowe Road, for both of them, we move that the town will raise appropriate transfer funds. We'll say the dollar amount appropriate, the address appropriate, the assessor's map acreage appropriate. We explain in both that it's the land acquisition costs and related expenses, because there's a cost to the town to buy property. And the purpose is to construct a new firehouse, and we explain all of that. So that's the same. The summary, we're authorizing purchase of property at the two different locations as a site for a new firehouse. Both parcels allow for effective emergency response coverage and response times. The appropriation of X would cover the cost of the property acquisition and related expenses. This article funds only the purchase of the land. A separate future town meeting would be required to fund construction. So that's essentially the same.
Mary,
It's-
excuse me.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it also fund the design? And
No.
No.
This article does not fund the
No.
design. It's a separate
This
article.
is just for the purchase.
No, but where you say a separate future town meeting vote would be required to fund construction, it also would first fund the design, would
No,
it?
we're gonna fund the design hopefully at the town
Same
meeting
yeah,
we're
Same
at.
town
yeah, yeah,
meeting.
yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah,
Up to bidding.
Up to
right,
bidding.
up to bid,
Okay.
through bidding, through
Through
bidding.
bidding.
So then I offered draft recommendations. So let's look at 72. After considerable evaluation and analysis of 19 sites, the Fire Station Building Committee is bringing forward, we're gonna decide on Thursday, one or two properties for town meeting to vote on. The FSBC has put significant time and effort into the site selection. Overall, we evaluated 19 properties for the project. After initial assessment, we assessed 5 properties in depth, including 984, 72 Stowe Road, 1300 Mass Ave, 700 to 832 Mass Ave, and 502 Mass Ave, on 14 criteria, including total project costs, how well the site could meet the operational needs of the fire department, the impact to abutters, and the sustainability. That paragraph is similar in both recommendations. Then, based on these criteria and all the data provided to us, we feel strongly that 72 Stowe Road offers an excellent solution for the town. The property acquisition cost and estimated build cost is the least expensive option of all those evaluated, costing approximately X million dollars less than the next least expensive option. Now we could be more specific than 984.
Yeah.
The downside to this location is the concern of abutters, but the FSBC, with guidance from the town's OPM and architect, feel we can build in mitigation strategies to minimize noise, light, and other operational concerns. Based on all these factors, the Fire Station Building Committee recommends this purchase.
So, did you list out all of those addresses for a reason? Because when I read that, I tried to read it as not somebody who's been doing this for way too long, but, kind of just somebody who gets it in the mail and reads it. Does that become more complicated when you list it all out and then I don't, what do you
It's a
think?
good question. I'll tell you why I did it, but we don't have to stay this way. So you'll see I repeated 19 sites. So one of the criticisms has been, you haven't looked at enough sites.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to say, we've looked at a lot of sites, and then assessing 5 in depth is saying, and we looked at 5 deeply, not just a cursory glance. And so, but maybe we don't need to actually list the properties, or we throw it in a parenthesis so it's less distracting. I don't know if we ever use footnotes in recommendations.
You can write them any way we want, right?
Yeah, so we could do a little asterisk and say what those are. We can drop it all together.
I know we want to be transparent, but like I said, when I read that and I thought, okay, I'm a layperson reading this, I don't know anything about this, is that just bring up that noise factor that I was talking about earlier, right? But that might just be me, I don't know how anyone else read that.
I like that you listed them, because a lot of the folks in town have followed us early on, wondering about certain sites. So if you don't list the ones that we did the in-depth study, I wonder how many people say, well, I wonder about the site that they looked at early on, whatever became of 502, whatever, did they ever look at that seriously?
Yeah.
Not a hill I'm gonna die on, I'm just
Okay.
throwing it out there. If everyone else is okay with it, it's fine.
Are there other points you would take out of this recommendation or add to this recommendation about 72? And it could be you need to wait till Thursday till we know.
I think we need to wait till Thursday
Yeah.
to know specifically. And then think about, I think this is our recommendation. The finance committee will have a recommendation, the select
Right.
board will have a recommendation. And it will be, finance committee will be based on the dollars.
Right.
And, select board will be kind of more of an overview. And so I think we don't need to do, we don't have to do too much in the recommendation. I think it
Yeah.
just needs to be what we looked at and how we got
Right.
here.
I also feel like if we put 2 forward on Thursday, somehow we need to say which one we prefer. If the committee has a preference, because it will be a little bit confusing for voters until it's explained to them. Hopefully they'll come to our public forums. Hopefully they'll read material, but I do feel like it could be confusing. If we look at the 984 and the last paragraph, so I did a similar, based on these criteria and all the data provided to us, we felt strongly that 984 Mass Ave offered an excellent solution for the town. The property acquisition cost and estimated build cost is approximately, and this could change, because that will change, I have that number wrong, 3.9 million more. It's actually, right now, it's looking like it's 2.6 million more than the least expensive option. Then here we would say than 72 Stowe Road. But the 984 Mass Ave property is conveniently located on Massachusetts Ave and does not have a group of abutters advocating against this location. Additionally, there have been ongoing noise and dust issues with abutters related to the current business operations at this site that would be alleviated with the purchase of this site for a firehouse. Based on all these factors, the Fire Station Building Committee recommends this purchase.
I'm not sure we should put in, I don't know about putting in the current issues with the builder.
Yep.
I'm not sure
Yeah.
how that helps us with our recommendation.
Okay,
I don't think it does.
okay.
And somehow, to say, let's see, and doesn't have have a group of abutters advocating against it. I mean,
Well,
let's be honest, that's a very polite way of saying what we're facing, right?
I didn't want to minimize the abutters at 984, but they're not advocating against. So that's why I phrased it that way, but maybe that's not the best way to.
What if you just said, is conveniently located on Massachusetts Avenue in a non-residential neighborhood? And then let people for themselves decide, why does she say that? Why is that important?
Yep,
Rather than remind everybody that there's a group of folks that weren't happy with the least expensive site.
Yep, I like that.
Or if we're gonna remind people of that, we're not gonna use a nice word about advocating. I mean, there's truly, I would take out the word advocating and say a group of abutters against, you know, the 72, the
Leave it
least
out.
expensive. I mean, they're against it. They're not
Right.
politely advocating.
Yeah.
We were threatened with a lawsuit.
Well,
So-
but that is advocating, I mean,
Well, I
advocating
guess so. I
has
mean,
a
that sounded a little more
continuum.
like a threat than advocating, but you know.
Yeah.
Mary,
Yes, Matt?
Mary, I think that that issue should be decided on whether or not we put forward 2 sites or 1. I think that would be worded differently depending on which we do.
Yes.
If we put forward 2 sites, I think it's fair to say that the reason, if in fact that we advocate for 984, that one of the main reasons is because of the significant amount of butters concerned. If we only put forward 984, I don't think we need to say it so specifically.
Okay, so I'm gonna take out the sentence on additionally, there have been ongoing noise, dust issues, et cetera. And then I'm gonna leave it and we're gonna wordsmith it once we've made our decision, so. Okay, then, there's one final one that is the new firehouse design and bid funding. And again, we've looked at the motion, we've looked at the summary, it's the recommendation that I want you to look at, which says, after considerable evaluation analysis of 19 sites for viability, the Fire Station Building Committee is bringing forward 1 or 2 properties for town meeting to vote on. The FSBC has put significant time and effort into site selection. Overall, we evaluated 19 properties, blah, 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 that's all the same, I guess.
And I'm not sure here we need that because you've already said it.
Yeah.
And it's that article's coming after, we don't want it to read like you just
Right.
changed the last line of the recommendation, right?
yeah.
So I think you can stop at, we've evaluated 19 sites and with 4 of them being in depth or whatever. But
Okay.
I don't think we need.
Okay.
I
so
personally don't think you need the
I'm gonna
addresses
trim that
there.
down, but then, okay, although the costs are high, we have learned from experience that construction costs continue to accelerate, so a project like this will only cost more in the future. Current escalation costs are approximately 4 to 5% per year, subject to change with future construction market conditions. And our assessment of the current firehouse clearly shows that we need a new firehouse now. Thus, we recommend that town meetings support this request for X dollars now. This is what we had, this is based on what we had last time, but I don't know.
I don't love although the costs are high.
I don't
You
either,
don't-
but
You're not making a great ad person.
I'm
like marketing.
gonna work on this and bring
Yeah.
back something. Work on this. Okay, so we're not gonna vote that. So, just looking at my agenda. Then the only other thing in preparation for a special town meeting is our public outreach. And now it is getting closer.
It is.
We have Winterfest. We got a gorgeous mailing in the mail with info on Winterfest and a lot of other town things, which I loved and is on my bulletin board. And it is the 31st, I believe.
Yep.
Yep.
Saturday the
24.
31st.
Yep.
So we're gonna have a table there. And I know I'm gonna be there, I think Sarah and Priya.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. And so we'll prep some handouts, 1 or 2 for that.
And then we have the forum the Wednesday before that,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I gotta find my dates.
The
I feel like it's been
28th.
forever since we've met.
Yes,
Yes.
January 28th.
28th. Yeah.
At
11 and 7.
11 and 7, yep.
11 and 7, and they're both here.
Yep.
And both hybrid,
Yep. We just need to figure out what we wanna say, and we have time for that.
right,
But, you know, what kind of presentation we're gonna do.
right. So.
And it's a ballot question, so we have to be careful about
Yes,
advocating.
very careful. It'll be, I mean, we will be talking about what each article is, so it'll be the 2 or 3 articles. I think we can provide information from the matrix, information on the sites,
The
but
tax information that we have.
tax, yeah.
We have to change that chart.
Yep. And based on what John Markowitz said earlier, we should probably have some slides on the program.
Yep.
And so how do we do that when you say some slides? It's a lot to put into some slides, right?
It was a presentation unto itself. We
Right.
did it as a forum much earlier, but there's a part of me that thinks, I tend to be very, very structured in how I do things. I think that this might need to be communicated a different way. So it might be like, here's a room, here's who's using it and for what, rather than, I think I did a whole size space thing.
Yeah, you did like kind of this.
And I had a
section,
map, and
yeah.
maybe I don't do all those maps, but I just talk about what's the importance of the different offices, the meeting room, the decontamination space, the storage space, the what's gonna be in the garage, in the bays.
And maybe, so the big thing I keep hearing, not from a lot of people, but there's a few people that continue to say, well, that's so much more space than we have now, why can't we just expand a little? Like, why do we need to be that big? So I think here's all these spaces, here are all these spaces we don't have now, and here's why we need them. I would rather, I think people would rather hear that. Why do we need a triage room? Why do we need, office space? Why does everybody need a separate bedroom? Why can't we all bunk together like, in the old days when we were watching TV and everyone was in a big bunk room and that kind of thing, right?
Yeah. I struggled with this the last time I did this too. There are requirements around what you must have, and and the size of some of it. Some of it's driven, and I don't know that enough to put it in a short presentation. So
The chief
I don't.
probably does.
Yeah, I don't know if that's something you could help me with.
Yes.
We could work together. Okay.
Even the functions of the rooms. And
I mean,
Great.
importantly,
Make sure we're on the same page.
the equipment storage room, like, were you keeping your turnout gear? Like, why do you need a room? Why we can't just, it's that kind of stuff that people don't understand.
Yeah.
That it's a requirement. Well, why is it a requirement? Because this stuff is off-gassing all day long when we come back. But that's what people need to understand. I don't
Right.
think people get that,
Yeah. Okay. So we're gonna have the articles, we're gonna talk about how we got to the site selection, we'll have some tax impact, we'll have the program.
And this is for the 28th.
Yes.
And then, okay.
And it's gonna feed into the presentation at town meeting.
Yeah.
Last time I had 10 minutes. I do think in the BLF meeting, we after special town meeting, we discussed, and everybody at the table from all the boards convinced the town moderator we might need more time for such a big investment.
And he said he would do that.
He did. But he is also saying, people are only going to listen for so long. Maximum 15, because I don't want to listen to a presentation more than 15 minutes. So it's going to be the art of taking this, which I will probably have bigger for the forum, and then cull it down to, and that we can be observing in the forum, what people are asking, what seemed to be clear, what seemed to resonate that they wanted to hear, and make sure that gets in, those kinds of things.
So so that's all well and good, but you're assuming that we have a big crowd. So
I'm an optimist.
normally, okay, so we put our sign up at, are you done with the presentation stuff? Because I
Yeah,
want to talk
yeah.
about how do we do this outreach, right?
Yeah.
So we have the emails that we've collected so Rajon can send out something. We can do social media. We have the sign at the fire station. That, how do we send something to the homeowner association at Boxborough Meadows and at Enclave and ask them to send it out so that, we've got to reach more people. I don't know about other developments and, whether or not they have like homeowners associations or whatever, but, I do know that people here might know somebody at Reed Farm that you could send it to them and they could send it out. We've got to try to reach more people to say this is happening on both forums and come and listen because we need you to come to town meeting and be educated,
So we could do flyers, like the library, other places, Acton
Oh,
Coffee.
the transfer station.
Transfer station,
Yep.
it's a good place.
It is a good place.
Don't
You
forget
ever-
Applewood Village when you talk about developments.
That's
that
what I'm
have
saying. So
homeowners
should we be
associated. There's
doing-
84 families there.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I
And
think,
they're not renters, they're owners.
No, they're owners for the
And, you know,
most
I mean, renters vote, and they should be included as well, but it's the people who own these that are gonna have the direct tax. Renters will have a tax impact on their next
absolutely.
rent increase, but,
Yeah.
you know, so we should reach out to them. But I don't, do we have contact information for all of these? I mean, like, I know people at Applewood, so, you know, we can forward something to them, but
Yeah.
if you don't,
We do have some contact information for the homeowner presidents and stuff like that.
that would be great if we could send the flyer out or an email out or something.
Yeah.
I mean, I tried that with Enclave. I got no response when I sent it to the president the last time we went through this, so it would be great if we could do that. And then anything else anyone can think of? You know, any way we can think of getting the word out to people, we need to do that if it's the PTF.
Yeah, I put that on my list.
Okay.
The AV school newsletter too.
AB school newsletters, right? Because this
Yeah.
is all factual.
Yeah,
It's not advocating one way or the other.
What about like reverse 911, is that?
We don't have reverse
that-
911,
that
do we?
one is- I thought it was being worked.
We have, what we're gonna have though with this is there's going to be opt-in groups, and it will be able to be done through opt-in groups. It can't be like, it can't go out like an emergency would to
Yeah.
every single house, but if people were to opt in, once we get it, I'm anticipating within the next week to 2 weeks, our public campaign for that's gonna be going forward. So it'll line up with before the town meeting, so we'll be able to get
So
information out
it's-
to those who want it.
What about the podcast system now that's on BXB-TV? There's been several
that's
good,
available.
Judy said that we can come anytime we want to do a podcast.
because maybe Mary could do a presentation for the camera. And it could be a podcast as well as when she's gonna do it live in the room.
You wanted to do it twice? Or do it in the room and be recorded?
Well, it's up to Mary, I'm just throwing it out
Well-
there. But it'd be like a commercial.
Yeah, we did that. I think if we're gonna record things for like YouTube, they have to be shorter than the full
Do we
presentation.
know like how many hits we got from the last time? That's something we need to
Yeah,
look
we should
and
look
see.
at that.
Well,
Because-
To make sure
yeah,
that
on the
it's.
TV website,
Useful.
it shows how many people have viewed each podcast.
So can I just,
Normally not a lot.
can I just go back to the chief?
pretty low.
When you say it's not, so are we gonna have like a reverse 911 system and then, do you remember what it was called before? Because I opted
think
into
people
that.
Red before, now it's
was
gonna
not
be the
impressed.
Motorola Rave.
Amount of effort versus how
We've gone to the Rave system. So before we were sharing with Littleton Light, we were given access, Code Red, we were given access to them, and then something happened and we couldn't, I wasn't here for it, but we couldn't access it. So last year, through discussions and with the ARPA money, Mike moved forward with a contract to enter into our own system through Motorola so that we weren't reliant on an outside agency to try to get our messages out for us. So we do have one now. It's just, it's taken quite a bit to get it set up.
Okay, but it's gonna be two different, it's gonna be a reverse 911 for emergencies.
Yes.
And then there's an opt-in that you're saying we could
There's gonna be
use,
a
but we're
number
not
of-
gonna have that up and running in time, right?
Yes, we will.
You'll have it running
We'll
in
have it up
time
and
where we
running,
have
but we have to
people.
be a lot of
It depends on how
outreach to
fast
get
people sign up.
Right.
It's our system, yeah. It's
I
going
can
to
put that in my February postcard, it goes to every mailbox.
Well, that would be
It's
for
not-
town meeting, but that
It's
wouldn't be
not
for the
gonna work.
forums.
Isn't, because the
We were
forums
just
are
talking-
January
yeah.
28th.
Yeah.
So it's
So-
not gonna be
right.
available
So
for
to
that.
remind people about town meeting, that's
Yeah.
gonna be great in March, hopefully, if you put it on the postcard.
Forms, it'll be.
For the forum, it'll be too tight,
Yeah.
to have critical mass signed up. Right, okay.
Right, I think just, we have to do the best we can do, this is literally my 22-year
I know.
problem volunteering in this community.
I know. Yeah,
How to get people to read the emails, read the piece of paper that goes home in the backpack, pick up the flyer. They just don't do it, and I understand, people are crazy busy, and like, I cleaned out my email over the holidays because I had 10,000 personal emails, but if I stay on top of it, it's 200 a day.
I know.
It's ridiculous, not to mention work and building committee, it's.
I mean, and it's
people are
not just
overwhelmed.
this community.
No,
You know,
it's
all the
just too
communities are
much.
struggle
And
with
We
this.
can only do our best.
Okay.
And we give such good presentations. I mean, why doesn't everyone want to come?
I mean, I would get coffee and donuts if people were like, will refreshments help? I'm happy to do that.
Yeah.
Emmy award winning.
Okay.
All right. Okay, and then we're gonna do we have a date for the pre-town meeting?
We do, you just mentioned it.
Yeah,
right,
it's
for the
The,
pre-town meeting.
the
February.
20, shoot, I have it, do you have it?
It's February 23rd.
And for that, there will be a one-page in the warrant that gets mailed out, giving the details on that.
Right.
But we should push through all these other mechanisms as well.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
as a matter of fact, while we're pushing this, push that one, push them
Right.
both at the same time.
Yep.
And the Boxborough News, of course, I think would help us with all of that.
Yep. Okay.
All right. Any other thoughts on public outreach? Okay, then we'll move to the minutes from December 11th. Any comments?
I found a couple of small things.
Okay,
On the first page, the big paragraph that says Chair Brolin,
yeah,
the fourth line from the bottom says, "And to determine vote whether to make them public."
yes. And to determine, just take out vote, whether to
Yeah.
make them public. I noticed that too, yeah.
And then on the next page,
Yeah,
the big paragraph, the second row down, that should be Mass Ave with 2 S's. And then it says a 5,000 A reimbursable allowance.
a $5,000, yeah, take out the A, reimbursable allowance, okay?
And then the second paragraph from the bottom, there's nothing wrong, but I think everywhere else, we've used a person's name. Your name, Kate Davies, so on, Steve Kirby. Now, all of a sudden, we just call the person the town planner, instead of saying that it's Alec, or is it Ian?
It was Alec.
I think we should put his name there, so somebody referring to this in the future.
Yeah.
Well, no.
I think I probably said the town planner, and so the note taker didn't know that it's Alec Wade, W-A-D-E.
WAD.
Yes.
And then the top of the next page, the first paragraph, the third line down says, during construction phase, they complete performance testing. Well, who's they?
In the
Who is it?
Where
I
was
think
it?
it's context, because we're, in the previous sentence, we're talking
Well, it'll be a
about,
consultant.
the idea is to reduce potential for
Is that
any
the
errors
OPM
in
that
the
oversees that?
design.
Who does?
Well,
It just
it's
says
it's
there.
doing
It
the-
it
it's really
depends.
doing
If
the
it's
commission.
engineering, it'll be
Oh.
an engineer, it'll be a mechanical engineer, electrical engineer, plumbing
Maybe there's
engineer.
nothing wrong, but somebody looking at that's gonna say, well, whose report should we look for?
It's a broad
It's
statement.
the
because it'll be different.
third-party commissioner
Yeah, that's,
Okay, that's fine.
during the construction phase, I mean.
Commissioning agent is, which page are you on?
The top of page 3,
Yeah,
Page 3.
so-
the third line
3.
down.
So we could say instead of they, the commissioning agent completes
That's fine.
performance testing, blah, blah, blah. Yeah.
And then 2 more paragraphs down, the third line, says prepare construction
Wait a minute,
drawings.
wait, start
Oh, I'm
again.
sorry.
I was taking notes.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
The paragraph that starts with the committee reviewed,
Yep.
the third line down says prepare construction drawings, re-qualify contractors.
Oh, pre.
I think that should be pre-qualify,
Pre-qualify.
because we haven't
Pre-qualify,
qualified them
yeah.
yet, so why would
Yeah.
we be
No, it's
re-qualifying them?
pre-qualify.
And then the next line down is missing the word "the." It says general bid for new firehouse. Obviously, that should be for the new firehouse.
Yep.
Alan started this with, I have a couple.
I
have
have
a
to
few.
tell you that I just finished a book that
There's
needed
a lot of green.
at least 20 more A's and 10 more thes in it, and I'm like, I want to like edit the book. Yeah, I don't know why people drop their A's and thes, but, okay, Maria.
Well, In
Maria
science, when
has
you write a
something.
report, these kind of things are the difference between something working and not working. Or
Yes.
somebody hurting themselves and not hurting themselves because you left a critical word out.
Exactly.
Maria doesn't, I said.
Oh, I thought you said
no,
you had some.
No, I said Alan started with, I have a few changes.
Oh.
And he just.
Well, they don't seem important technically.
No,
But when you read
they're
this
not.
from the future, this is why we had to go through and do a zoning article.
Yeah,
Because
right.
somebody
I
skipped over that.
Yes, no,
Yeah,
I'm fine
no,
with it. It just makes me chuckle.
We value you, we know, we're not
Yeah, I'm not
criticizing.
criticizing.
Yeah. Two more paragraphs down that says the
Oh, there's
purchase
more.
of property at X.
Yep,
The fourth line down, it says containing the approximately X acres.
oh, yeah, it's take out the, that the just moves up, containing approximately X acres, yep.
And then the very last thing on the very last page says that today is Thursday, and it's actually Monday, where it says the next fire station building committee meeting is Monday, January
Oh,
5th,
it's in the footnote,
but it says Thursday.
yeah. It is, that was a mistake. Yep.
Okay.
Okay. Anyone else have any comments, edits?
We left it for Alan to take care of everything.
Nobody needs to worry about it because Alan picks them all up.
Can I have a motion to approve the December 11th meeting minutes as revised?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, Alan moved, Maria seconded. Roll call vote, Larry,
Aye.
Alan,
Aye.
Priya,
Sundaram, aye.
Maria,
Neil and I.
Sarah,
Aye.
Mac,
Aye.
and Brolin, aye. Thank you. So I am going to remind us, we have a meeting this Thursday, January 8th, here. We have a meeting, our regular meeting is January 15th. And then our fourth meeting of the month is January 22nd. So right now, all of those are on the books. I will say I'm entertaining the idea of giving us the 15th through 22nd off if we need a break, especially because we have presentations on the 28th. So. just
Can we
keep-
make that decision on the 15th on Thursday night? Because we have a BLF meeting
Yes.
scheduled that would need to be rescheduled if we could have it on the 15th.
Yes.
And we added that in case we needed it
Exactly.
for, yeah.
So we'll decide on Thursday
On the
about.
15th.
We have one on the 15th, but yeah. Okay. Any other updates we want to share?
No.
Any other public input? So if you're in the room, come to the mic, and if you're online, raise your hand. I'm going to recognize Becky in the room.
Yeah, Mary, you guys are talking about trying to get the word out. I just want you to know the Yes campaign is going to send out a flyer prior to town meeting, reminding people they should go to town meeting and vote yes, and then show up at the ballot also. And we're also looking into any number of coffees, and wines or whatever, just to get people comfortable with the idea and answer questions and whatever else. So if anybody in TV land wants to host a coffee or wine, you can feel free to reach out to me. But we're also going to work it. I mean, I know you guys are working it, but we're working it to get it to vote yes.
Great.
So, okay?
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate that. Anyone online?
There's no one online. There's just,
Okay.
yep. No, there's no hands up online. Is
All
what I'm
right.
trying to say, but not saying
With
it.
that, I would take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Okay, I heard Maria move and Priya second. Roll call vote, Larry,
Aye.
Alan,
Aye.
Priya,
Sundaram, aye.
Maria,
Neil and I.
Sarah,
Aye.
Mac,
Aye.
and Brolin, aye. Thank you, everybody. We're making progress. Thursday's gonna be fun.
Get rid of those.